And hi, welcome back to the Doc and Doc Show. This is Dr. Curts, and I'm here with Dr. Jenkins. We have been talking about different things that we can do on the show, and I'd like for Dr. Jenkins to kind of share with you. We've talked about having guests on. I invited a couple who's in the lifestyle to be on the show, and you can call in. You don't have to be here if you're uncomfortable with that. But we want other doctors to come on the show too. So what have we got?
Well, we have several doctors that are anxious to be on the show. One is a doctor that actually does, like last week or the week before, I talked about the O shot, the shot for the ladies, the orgasm, and he's certified and does that. So I think he could give us his thoughts about how it works and tell us what his experiences have been, how happy the patients are afterwards. So I think that's something that, it's not too expensive to have that procedure done. And really all it is injections. So it's not too hard, yeah. And then I have a urologist that would like to come on the show that will talk about sexual health also. And then they will discuss, prostate cancer and how that ruins sex life, etc. And then I was talking to Dr. Dorio, who's on the show, the senior hour, 2 hours before ours, and we may do myself and Dr. Curts will do a guest appearance and talk a little bit on that show. So things are coming up. So what do you think about that? I
think we're very popular. That's what I think. But I'm concerned about the senior hour. Are they going to ID us, or we going to be old enough for that?
I think we're old enough. Yeah, at least I am. I don't know about you.
Of course not me. I always lie about my age. I tell the truth about everything except my age. So anyway, but I think women have a prerogative to do that.
I think so.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So let's get back. I think what we were talking about the opiates, the drugs, and then we went to the cheating, but I'd still like to go back and have you address other things and other problems with drugs, other issues that you've seen, because this is such an important problem in our country, in our community. And this is the hometown station. Let's love this community some and not close our eyes or turn our heads, but pay attention to what's going on. Our kids are dying.
That's right, and we know that for a fact here. The federal government luckily is behind stopping the overusage and overprescribing of the opioids. The federal government knows how much of an impact it has on communities, and they're actually going to go after the prescribers. The prescribers, they're going to have to take a special class just to prescribe it. So I think that's going to be good. That's going to cut down on some of the things. But if you're hooked on the medicines right now, it's very hard to get off because the receptors are bound up with the opioids that you're taking, and they won't let go. And they want to be always filled up because the way it works is that in our body there's all kind of receptors. There's receptors that tell you if you're upside down or you're sitting straight. There's drug receptors. There's nicotine. People get addicted to nicotine because of nicotine receptors in our brain. So more and more the opioids are taking over all the receptors, and you become more and more ill with it. And the thing also is that once you get treatment for it, either rehab or you do get the shots or the implant. The good thing about it is, like I said, you don't get the high from it. And also, you don't waste the money going to pay for your pills or buying them on the street or even going to the doctor. With those injections, you just go once a month, but for the implant, you go once every 6 months.
I like clarity, and I say living in the light. And when you're doing drugs, it seems like you have no clarity into any experience. I mean, how can you really enjoy this short time we have on earth to enjoy life? I mean, it seems like with drugs, we're running away from it. And so I'm wondering with millennials, and I am talking about, although I'm sure drugs go with every age, but in this community, what is the age group?
Mostly 25 to 35.
Okay.
Yeah, because it takes them a while to get into the lifestyle. So they get out of high school, they get out of college, or they don't do it. They start working, and many times it's unfortunately, but they have an injury, and the injury turns into more meds and more meds and more meds and stronger meds, and finally they get their surgery that they need for their bad back, etc. And by that time, they're hooked on the drugs. So there are these pain management doctors all around the United States that prescribe medicines for them, but sometimes I wonder, are we overprescribing? And I think maybe we may be.
And what do you do for pain then? If you know someone, it's not going to be good for them to have an opioid, what would you prescribe? What would you do?
Well, I usually use medicines that are on different pathways. So let's go simple. We go Tylenol versus Advil, or acetaminophen versus ibuprofen. Those medicines stop pain on different nerve pathways. So what you have to do is you have to use medicines that are on different nerve pathways so that you'll get a full, broad blockage of the pain without taking a narcotic.
So how do you, as a physician, how do you judge whether somebody really needs this or they're shopping for drugs? I mean, that has to be a fine line with people.
Right, it is. And so like I said, we run the cures report on patients before we give them narcotics.
That's great.
Even sleeping pills and Xanax, anxiety pills, etc. We have to look at the cures report to see if they, we picked up 60 pills yesterday, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But the ones that, they actually may have a disease, they may have a pinched nerve, let's say, and they have to wait for surgery. So the doctors have to find a way to block the pain. And that may be just giving an injection into the area where it's been damaged, and you'll get pain relief from that without getting hooked on drugs.
Well, and you're talking about physical pain, then what I see is the psychological pain that people just can't deal with life anymore, or they can't deal with what's going on in a relationship. And believe me, there's so many relationships out there. You don't have to focus on one, and just because it didn't work, there are more out there. Plenty more. So, that's maybe when you get some therapy, just to realize that that person wasn't meant for you anyway. So you go ahead, instead of going to the drugs or something, you kind of figure out what you did wrong, what they did wrong, what you want in a healthier relationship. And then guess what? You get the goodies. And I think people are lonely, and I think the suicide rate, the highest, is in white males over 50, I believe.
I don't know
That's
the
the
numbers,
highest
yeah.
suicide rate. And so I'm thinking that, there's some lonely people out there. I think women tend to, if they get out of a relationship, tend to be more interactive, go out more, have girlfriends, talk about their issues, where men just kind of stay to themselves many times, and that can be a very dangerous thing. Do they then take sleeping pills? Do they overdose? How do they get back into relationships? Oh, and that's another show. We could do dating, getting back into dating relationships after the big breakup or after the blow up or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think that would
I don't think I have any experience in that.
You have no experience
Right,
in
exactly.
that?
But you were talking about sleeping pills, and that's another little crisis we have, was with the Ambien, which is basically a diazepam, alprazolam, lorazepam. Those are all anxiety drugs. So it's a sister of those. So according to the manufacturer, you're only supposed to take one pill a night for 20 nights. I mean, like 20 times a week. So maybe the weekends. I mean, not the weekends, but the weekdays. And some insurance companies only give 20 now because they know that's a problem. And I have patients that come in, they say, I just need to get my Ambien refilled because I can't sleep. I said, well, when did you take it last night? I took it last night. I said, well, why did you take it? Well, I always take them at night. I said, what have you tried to sleep yet? I said, no, I just know I can't sleep, so I take the pills. And so they get hooked on diazepam, and then we have on Ambien, and then we have to slowly detox them and find them a medicine that's safer. Because some people have sleeping disorders, but some people just can't turn their head off at night and fall asleep.
So it becomes habitual. This is what I need.
It's another addict forming type of thing.
Yeah.
And then they shop the different kinds of sleeping pills, and they just shop for sometimes.
Yeah. Oh. Anybody out there experiencing that? I mean, we'd really like to hear from you at 661-298-5487. Tell us, your experiences, what your issues, whatever you'd like to call in with. I mean, as I said, it's an interactive show, but hey, Dr. Jenkins and I can interact. We're doing just fine, and we learn from each other. Have you learned anything from me?
Oh, yes, you like soapboxes.
I do, but that means I have passion.
That's true. Passion it is.
I have passion, and I think we need more passion in our life and less checking out. And even the drug thing, I think you're cheating yourself in your life. So it's about cheating, and I don't know, it really scares me to death. And I'm glad we're doing this show. I'm glad you're talking about it, because I want people to stop turning their heads in our community, in all communities, but we're here and this is home. And, if we can save one or two people, I think we've done a fabulous job. I mean, I personally have known people who have committed suicide over drugs, and it's scary. And you think if they could just get through it, if they could get some kind of help, what a wonderful life they could have.
That's right. You hear about the stars, the movie stars, the singers, and the athletes that quote unquote accidentally overdose.
Right.
And those doctors, those people that have overdosed that are in the stars, star people, they, they're in one town, they pick up some medicine from one person. They go to another town, they pick up another medicine from somebody else. So they're saying, I'm really tired, I need a good night's sleep because we got a big game tomorrow. I got to shoot tomorrow. I got to make a big film tomorrow. So they double the drugs up, or they take two of each and mix them together. One doctor didn't know the other doctor was giving them, and so it's a real problem. And people say, well, I just want these pills on hand just in case I need them, and those are the ones that accidentally overdose.
Everybody wants magic. We all want magic. Ever since the remote control, with the TV, we want instant gratification, and it even goes sexually. I mean, we want the Viagra, we want the shot, we want something to give us instant gratification.
That's true. And then, we're at, I remind everybody, we're at KHTS AM 1220, and our phone number is 298-5487. But there's a lot of problem with addiction, and I wish there was a pill or one thing that would make it better. So now we're just finding things that can help you stop using whatever you're addicted to, and then you get on something else. And the something else is something that you can get out of easier. You can stop easier.
Well, I think we talk about addiction, and with the pills, it is a true physical addiction. There is withdrawal, isn't there? In some they're not, I think. Cocaine, there's not.
There's a lot of withdrawal in different meds, and they always say that I'm trying to kick it.
Yeah.
And that's when they start having, you start having sweats, and your eyes are weird, and you get diarrhea, and your blood pressure goes up. So there's a lot of problems, and it's a week.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a week. So when they go to these detox centers, they're only giving them over-the-counter meds to make them work. But I think that if you're strong enough, you can stop it.
So, Doc, tell me about sex addiction. And I put that quote in quote. Do you have withdrawal from that?
I don't know about sex addiction. I'm going to ask.
You don't have.
I'm going to ask a sexologist.
You should, and I just wanted to give you the chance to, tell me I'm mistaken, that maybe.
Is there a pill for it?
I think you just get kind of sad, like, oh darn, I can't watch my porn, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. You can find a balance for it, but I don't believe in sex addiction. It can be other things. There's always a reason that somebody cheats. It's not that you're just innately a bad person. There's a reason, and if you want to do that, maybe go to a therapist ahead of time, or talk to your partner and say, this isn't working for me. And if it isn't, and you can't find a common ground, then you slip out the back and say, it was wonderful, I love you, I care for you, but I'm not going to dishonor you by cheating. Because that is a dishonor. I mean, it hurts people, and I get the other side. People have been so deeply hurt by being cheated on.
When is it okay to cheat? Doctor?
Never. Never.
Okay, just want to get that out there, you know.
Never. What, do you want permission?
No, I just was wondering if there's, what do you have to do it, you know?
I don't think there is. I know people do, and I know it is rampant, and it is, the reason I talked about summer, cheating happens more when it's warm, and probably one of the biggest areas of cheating was a place I came from in Clearwater. That was Clearwater, Florida. People wore bikinis and tank tops and things like that all the time. So now
We should post that picture on the website.
we should.
Yeah, the Clearwater bikini vest, you know.
We could do that.
That's right.
But that's true. So here we are, June. We're into the season, and it's just something to talk about. And if you're having a difficult time in your relationship, I think you need to talk about that instead of cheating and hurting somebody's soul. It hurts their ego. It ruins them for the next relationship. So cheating's just lying, and I will lie about my age, so just FYI.
Okay, we got it.
Okay, thank you.
So we're here again at KHTS Radio AM 1220 downtown Newhall, and our phone number is 298-5487, and we're here to answer your questions, so please call us. We're just having fun today talking about different things, and when we come back from the break, we're going to discuss some more issues about relationships.
Great, I can't wait.
And I think we're going to be getting ready to go to break, I think, in about 2 minutes. So we will just continue talking until that 2 minutes is up, and then we have some more commercial things.
You know, one thing, we keep telling you our phone number, 661-298-5487, but if you can't call in, during the whole week at midnight, you can email us, and your email address will not show up, so don't worry about that. Email us at doc, D-O-C, at hometownstation.com. Hometown Station, all one word. So send us an email, and then we'll have them for the next show, or just say, this is my concern, or, gee, I don't agree with you all, or you're spot on with this, and I wish you'd talk more about it. We're here as part of the community to give you information, to please you, and to make your life better. We want you to be happy and healthy and full of life. I mean, we don't want you to go down a bad path that's just going to give you sad consequences. We're all human. We all go down those paths, and you know that. There's a path, then we make a little detour, and then we figure out what we learned and come back. Believe me, living in the light's a lot easier than sneaking around, I would think. What do you think about that?
I think you're correct. I think you're usually correct. You know?
Thank you. And so are you.
Oh, thanks. Pat my back in a minute here.
No, it's. I think you're getting help here, and you're getting empathy. We're hearing your problems. We're hearing what you want. And believe me, socially and in my office, I hear more feedback, people saying, hey, could you talk about this, or could you talk about that? And the cheating thing and the intimacy thing are the two biggies, and then the sex addiction thing I just jump on.
You know what, you brought up about your office. I forgot to tell people that you have a new address in Beverly Hills now.
I do.
That's right, you moved offices, yeah.
Yeah, I still have my Valencia office, and I'm at the Roxbury Medical Building on North Roxbury in the Golden Triangle in Beverly Hills, and I am so excited to be there.
Well, that's going to be great. We'll have to have a photo op sometime.
We will. And then we can go to Neiman Marcus for lunch. It's across the street.
Yeah, is that needless markup or Neiman Marcus?
That's what it's called. But we could, somebody could come in and have their retail therapy and then the real psychotherapy.
Right.
Maybe you should have the psychotherapy first, and you won't need the retail therapy.
Right.
But it's kind of fun to be across the street from needless markup.
It is. So we're going to break right now, and we'll come right back. Thanks. Okay, we're back. Thank you for coming back. This is Gregory Jenkins. I'm a medical doctor, and I'm here with Dr. Judith Curts, who's a clinical board-certified sexologist therapist. And we are at 298-5487. That's KHTS AM 1220 in downtown Newhall. I just want to recap because we're going to be closing here in about 4 or 5 minutes, but I want people to look forward to the next few shows because we're going to have some guests on. One is going to talk about the O shot, the orgasm shot that women get. And also there will be a discussion with the urologist about different urological problems that men and women have that interfere with sexual relations.
And I would also like, we're looking for, so if there's an oncologist out there that's not doing anything, I'm sure you're just hanging out. If we could get an oncologist, and I'm sure Dr. Jenkins can find 6 or 7
Sure.
to come on. And I'll tell you why. Cancer is such a horrible thing today, and I have seen the partners of cancer patients, and of course you want to give the patient all of the attention, but the partner gets kind of put on the back burner, and how they can get some help or how they can work with this disease, it's devastating. So I'd certainly like to have an oncologist on, a gynecologist, urologist. Do we need a zoologist? I guess not.
Probably not
No.
as easy.
No.
But I do have those other doctors available. We'll get the oncologist out, talk about cancer and sex life and chemotherapy and radiation therapy, and then we'll get the urologist that we talked about, and then maybe even the hematologist, because certain blood disorders, especially for blacks, there's sickle cell, and a lot of, and even now if you go to college and you want to play sports, black, white, brown, green, yellow, whatever color you are, you have to get the sickle cell blood test to see if you're a sickle cell patient, and that's another federal government rule. So we'll talk about that on the future shows.
We complain, everybody complains so much about, the government this, the government that, but they really are able to do some good things to protect us. And
they are. I mean, and I think they're working hard on, back to the opioids, they're really working hard on that.
I'm so pleased to hear that. And what I would like, and invite people, if someone wants to come on or call in, we'll patch you in, who's in an alternative sexual lifestyle. No judgment, but just so that we can learn. I think Stephen Covey years ago wrote The 7 Habits of
Successful People.
Successful people. And the one that I live by and love is seek first to understand. And that's what I think this show is about, that we're trying to get everybody to understand and not give opinions on things. Well, I think, but let's learn and say what got you there? How are you there? Just so that you can educate people and that we are gentler with each other. We're not judging, but we're seeking first to understand and then be understood.
Well, we're talking about guests, and you talked about the unusual lifestyles of some people, but I have some patients that are post-op transsexuals. They had the full surgery, and I'll call them and see if they are interested in being on the show. People can call in, ask questions, etc.
Yeah, the knowledge is wonderful. If we can get that, more knowledge, I think we're going to have a better culture, and we bring things out in the open in a professional and an open, respectful way. We're going to learn more, and we're going to be better people for it. And that's what we want, to make this hometown community so much better. And if we can do that by knowledge, knowledge is power, I think it would be a wonderful thing to do. I like what you're doing.
Well, I think we're going to have fun on these next coming shows. So it'll be fun. It'll be interesting. People will learn something from it. The technicians here will learn something from it. And but we're going to have fun. And I hope you all can make it back to KHTS AM 1220 in downtown Newhall. Our phone number is 298-5487. Please get a hold of us, and we appreciate your listening, and we'll talk to you soon, I believe.
And we are all about fun and knowledge and understanding. See you next week.